Hey, day 5. I am still adjusting this. I'm at my office and I don't know. Things are weird. The lighting in here is weird, and I always say I'm gonna get a ring light for this office or this space, and I haven't done it. So I'm sort of dependent on natural lighting and like whatever normal lights in here. So like the light's just a little weird, and hopefully it's just like that for me and not for everybody else. So what's up? How we doing? We are on the 5th day of this challenge. My amazing Anna Maria had just changed the overall graphic for this group because I realized that has been there since I started this group and I didn't even think about it. And I'm not a graphic designer, and I just did that once a long time ago before I had a graphic designer. So I was like, oh, hey, can you change this? So how does it get any better than that? Hey, Rita. Hey, Megan. Cool. So I'm so curious. Geraldine posted. I missed if other people posted what they did yesterday, if they, took themselves sort of out of their comfort zone, and if you guys went somewhere, did something that was you kind of felt like was a little more like expensive than kind of a place you normally go, and kind of pot and pock yourself through that. So it sounded like she had a really cool experience, and I'm curious what other people chose or what other people are choosing, if there's still your plan for later in the week or whatever to kind of do that. But yeah, I'll kind of give people a minute to come in here. Whoops, my book just fell all by itself. Excuse me, I'm hosting Brandy Nelson for Talk to the Entities class this weekend. And the amount of entity activity in my world has just been like, I don't know, crazy amounts of entity stuff. And so just stuff like that, like a random door opened at my house yesterday. Like I was in a totally different room, like the front door, garage door opened. I was like, okay, the garage was closed. There was no like wind coming through. So this has just kind of been my life the last few days. So how does it get any better? But yeah, let's dive in. And if you're looking for a Talk to the Entities class, side note, Brandy is doing the class here in Chicago starting Friday. It's Friday and Saturday, but she's also doing it online. So wherever you are in the world, I think we have some people joining us from Europe and other places. So you are more than welcome to join us from wherever you are. I'm really excited for the class, and clearly it's already started. So let's talk a little bit today about choice. I know, everybody's favorite topic. Nobody wants to talk about choice when it comes to money, or when it comes to mostly anything. And it's one of the greatest challenges of any challenge that you could give yourself with money is really about the choices that you're making. And so anywhere that your money flows aren't working for you, or your financial situation isn't what you'd like it to be, you have to look at the choices that you've been making with money and start to ask, what are some different choices that I could make that would create something greater? And it's not to make anything wrong. And I just want to be really clear on that, because people, anytime we talk about choice, people are like, well, I must have made the wrong choice. Or they start judging the choices that they've made up to this point, because if it led them to their current situation, and if things are about choice, then it's like, well, then I must have made all the wrong choices to lead me here. So I would challenge you to look at like, what if no choice is ever wrong? It just creates more awareness for you. And so if you look at the choices you've made that have led you here, then you have all those awarenesses that have gotten you to this point of what worked and what didn't work, and what you'd like to choose differently and what you'd like to choose now. And also, like, just because something worked for you at one point in time doesn't mean that it will work for you now, because you're different, because every day you're different, every 10 seconds you're different. So to continue to be in the question and never look back, but always look towards like right now and the future, what future you'd like to create for yourself and for the world, and what choices you can make today that would create that, not based on any past reference points. So anywhere that you're using your past or your past reference points of money and what you've chosen, what you haven't chosen, what you need to choose differently based on the past, can we destroy it and create it? Cool. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And if you were willing to be totally present now, today, in this moment, what choices are available to you now that would create something different? And would you be willing to choose them? And that is where people get stuck. I've had so many conversations with people over the years, clients, friends, just acquaintances, whomever, people in classes, where they want everything to change, but when you get down to the like choosing something different, they're not really willing to choose that. And so we sort of have these places where we keep ourselves in a form and structure of our life, sort of the structural cohesion thing that Dane's been talking about, where everything like is within this structure, and we've created that for ourselves. And so we take ourselves out of choice and don't allow ourselves to know that there is actually something else that we could choose. So I think somewhere in this, maybe on day one, I was talking about like I had a job and I had a paycheck and that was all there was. And I was convinced that there just wasn't anything else. I was one of the higher paid psychologists that I knew. I didn't think that there was any other job that was going to pay me more than that. And I also knew that I was already at the ceiling of how much I could make at my job with the hours I wanted to work. If I wanted to work more hours, I could make more money. But that wasn't a choice I was willing to make either. And I was asking, there has to be something better or something different or something else. But it was this structure of I was in this box of there wasn't anything else greater, without being willing to make a totally different choice that was beyond what I had been choosing and what choices I thought were available. So anywhere you go into that no choice universe of like, well, this is as much as I can make doing the thing I do, therefore I don't have any other choices, will you destroy and uncreate that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Whew. Yeah. And would you be willing to start to ask questions? What choices do I have that I have never even looked at as a possibility? What else is possible beyond what I've decided is possible with my financial reality? Yeah, everything that is going to try to create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Cool. So then you start to look at this energy of like, okay, well, if money wasn't the issue, what would I choose? What would I choose for my life? What would I choose to have in my life? What would I choose to purchase? What would I choose not to purchase? And when you take money out of it and it takes sort of the energetic charge of money out of it, then you can look at like, what would I really like to have as my life? And I was just listening to Gary and Shannon. Yeah, I had to think about who I was listening to. Did a podcast that I was actually going to share in this group, and I wanted to get through it first before I posted it, but I just finished it, so I will post it. But it's on Shannon O'Hara's podcast. Consciousness Anywhere is the name of her podcast. And Gary was talking about something, I've heard him talk about it before, but like when you take money out of the equation, basically, what would you actually like to have? And he was talking about, he used to work for this antique store, and they had said to him like, hey, you're doing such a great job, you can have anything in the store at cost. What would you like to have? And, if he, didn't have the money, he could put it on layaway, all the things. And so he looked at this whole beautiful store that he was working in and started to look at like, okay, well, if I could actually have anything. And there was this bed that he had decided he really wanted, this like, I don't know, this, antique headboard bed thing. And I think they were offering, he said something like they were offering it to him for like $12,000, which was cost, but it was retailing for $36,000 or something. And so he had wanted that and been like, lusting after this bed, like, oh, if I could really have that, that would be amazing. But when it came down to it, where like, okay, now it actually like was something he could actually choose, he was like, okay, do I actually want this? And he was like, no, not really. But it had created something in his world because it was so expensive, and because he couldn't have it, he wanted it. And so start to look at your life as you make choices. What is it in my life that I would actually like to have? And what have I decided I want just because it's like too expensive or too much or out of my price range? And if that wasn't it, would I choose it regardless of money? So something fun that you guys can do, which is not actually the challenge. I keep doing that. I have like multiple challenges within a challenge. So I guess, we could add this in too. But I guess that's what happens. As, you go into a store or you go to your favorite website and you start to look at like all the things. Websites are a little harder because usually the price tag, you see it right there. But in a store, you have to like usually, flip it over and see how much it costs, or, find the price tag. So if you start to look around and don't look at the price tags of things, And just like, if money was not the issue, if I'm not looking at the price, what would I actually like to have? And it gives you a different awareness of like where you're functioning, of choosing things or thinking you want things that you can't have because of how much it costs. When you realize that like, okay, would I actually choose that if money wasn't the issue at all and I could just have whatever I want? Is that really the thing I want? And there may be things that you do, but it just gives you a different awareness. And so with all of this, what I really want you to look at today is choice. And it's as it relates to money and as it doesn't relate to money, because we like to put things in these categories where like, yeah, I have choice. I can choose in 10-second increments. But when you throw money in, it like does this weird thing where like the energy shifts. And so if you just start to look at like, actually I wanted to, wherever that book went, Simone actually gave you kind of like gave us as she wrote this book, like a little challenge in choice. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Let's do that. So she says in Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, she said to get out of the significance of choosing, you have to practice it. Practice choosing in 10-second increments. Start with little things. When I started playing with this tool, I went, okay, I'm going to walk over here. Okay, I'm going to make a cup of tea now. Now what would I like to choose? Oh, I'm going to walk outside. I'm going to smell this flower. I'm going to sit on the chair. Now I'm going to get up and go inside. I made myself keep choosing and remained fully present with each choice. I enjoyed each choice. I did not make my choices significant, right, wrong, or meaningful. I just chose just for fun. Start practicing choice and be present. Look at what each choice creates in your life. How does your body feel and what occurs to you? Every time you choose, what if you could give yourself the gift of knowing that it is not stuck in stone? If you choose something and it has cost and it has cost you X amount of dollars and it does not work out the way you thought it was going to, you would not waste your time judging and reprimanding yourself for your last choice. You just have to choose again. Pick yourself up and choose something else. Look at what it's going to take to create what you desire and keep choosing. Judgment will never create more money flowing into your life. Choice will create more money flows. What choice can you make now? Choosing in every 10 seconds is not about being fickle or changing your mind continually so that you never get anything done. It's about giving you greater and greater awareness of the infinite possibilities you actually have available to you and being able to make choices of any kind with ease and joy. It's about knowing you can choose a choice and change your choice. You can keep choosing and actually create what you truly desire. So I'd love you to play with that. Because our last day of our challenge, and just kind of as a fun thing, is take 5 minutes and choose to stand up, choose to sit down, choose to make coffee, choose to walk outside. And truly, we talk a lot about choosing in every 10 seconds, but actually play with that of like, okay, what would I like to choose now? And you don't have to change it every 10 seconds. It could be, oh, I choose to sit here for 10 seconds. All right, I choose to stay sitting here for 10 seconds. It doesn't have to be like where you have to, you don't have to change it, but it brings you to this presence of what are you actually choosing. And after you do that, start to look at what you're doing with money. And this isn't necessarily like a choose this and then choose this and then choose this. It's just an awareness and a presence. Be present with what you're currently choosing with money. Is it working for you? And if it is, and it's creating greater and all the things, fantastic. And if it's not, start to look at where it's not working. Whether it's that you're choosing to stay and making the one way of money that you've decided that money can come in, and what else could you choose? And it doesn't mean, okay, well, quit that and start this other thing. You can if that choice creates more, but it might also be a what else? What else can I add to my life? What else could I choose that would create more money for me? And it may be something that you're spending the money on that you don't even enjoy, that you're not, that because it's habit. Maybe you go to Starbucks every morning and get, or whatever your coffee thing is, and spend, $8 on coffee that you drink mindlessly and you don't even enjoy. Is that something you'd like to keep choosing? And it's not to make any of those things wrong. So this isn't about like, what can you cut out of your life? It's just asking the question and being present with what am I choosing with money right now that I could choose something different if it would create something greater. So if you're getting coffee every morning from your favorite coffee shop and every morning you get that coffee and you're like, oh my God, this is like the best freaking coffee in the whole world, and it lights up your body and your being, then cool. Is it worth that money to you then? And maybe it totally is, and that's not wrong. So this isn't about like, where can you cut things out of your life at all. It's just being present with the choices that you're making and what choices could you make that would actually create your life as greater now, today, in this moment, that would create a greater future. And so when you start to look at choice, you look at like, okay, well, what will this create in my life? What will this create right now? What is this creating joy for me? And also looking at what will my life be like in 5 years if I choose this? And what will my life be like in 5 years if I don't choose this? And things like whether or not to get a coffee may not seem relevant. And maybe it is, you can play with that. But like I had this conversation with somebody yesterday, a client who was like debating calling this guy after a date. And, you know, and so she like didn't know what to do. So I kind of said, okay, well, what will your life be like in 5 years if you choose this? What will your life be like in 5 years if I don't choose this? And she got that it was lighter not to choose it, even though what she really wanted was to call him. And so like, and obviously that's not a money conversation, but like, where can you start to use that in your life where it's like, okay, well, if I buy this, you know, what will my life be like in 5 years? What will my life be like in 5 years if I don't? If I choose to start doing this thing to make extra money, what will that create? And just start to look at all the different choices that you actually have available that you haven't even allowed yourself to know you have available. And the other thing I was thinking about this morning was really asking, like, universe, show me my reality with money. And just let that be and ask it every day. And if you were willing to actually have your reality with money and to start choosing your reality, not based on anybody else's reality or what anybody else is choosing or what anybody has said is like the right thing to choose with money, what do you know about money? And if you were having your reality with money, what could you choose even if nobody else understood it, even if nobody else got what you were doing? If it was creating greater for you and creating more money for you, even if it isn't the way this reality said you have to create money, wouldn't that be freaking awesome? So start playing in that. So, I said so a lot there. I'm just, if you were to be totally present with everything that you're choosing, to take a little, 5-minute increment and choose in 10-second increments, and maybe 5 minutes is a really long time if you're really doing it every 10 seconds. So, I mean, take 3 minutes, whatever works for you, but just take a little chunk of time and just be aware of choice and how much choice you actually have. And then look at the bigger picture of like, okay, if I was really choosing my financial reality, what would I choose? And see what that creates. So I think that's all, you guys. This has been so much fun. I have enjoyed doing these so much the last 5 days. It's created a lot for me and money and awareness and all of the things. We were gonna start the money pulls tomorrow. I moved it to Sunday just to give people a little bit more time, and I haven't talked to the entities class this weekend, and I got it would create more space for me to wait until Sunday. So starting on Sunday, which is Halloween, in the morning, we're gonna do the first day of Quick Ease with Money. And if you would like to join me for that, the link is already in this group, I'm quite certain, but if you need it, please let me know. And I think it's just drmelissamann.com/quick ease. So it would be so much fun if you would come play. I'm really excited for these polls because I get that like these 5 days and this challenge kind of got that energy just like moving, and like money flows are changing for people and people are choosing something different. And then when we start to use energy pulls, we are really pulling in the money into our worlds from all over the universe, and it creates a totally different energy with money in our lives. So I would love for you to join me there. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And please post any awarenesses that are coming up for you, any questions. This group is always here. I just chose to do this challenge in the group. So please use this group, ask questions about money, jump in with, new awarenesses or new money that's showing up in your world, and share your wins. I really created this group a while ago, but I created it to be the celebration of living and the celebration of money follows joy. And so how much joy can you have, and are you willing to have and be, that is creating money in your life? So I'll leave you with that. I will, I'm sure, be back in here soon. I was going to post a new clearing. I think I left the feelings clearing up for a while. I was just kind of letting that be, but I think I will post a new clearing soon, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.